All right, today we are jumping into one of the most incredible, most dramatic escape stories of all time, the parting of the Red Sea. I mean, this is a moment where an entire nation is trapped, they are facing total destruction, and they witness a miracle that would change everything for them, forever.
So, to really get our heads around this story, let's start with this one powerful idea from the book of Romans. Think of this verse as our lens for today. It's the belief that even in the middle of a terrifying crisis, there's a divine purpose at work.
So here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with the perilous path to freedom. Then we'll see how the Israelites get trapped and how that's really a mirror of our own struggles. After that, we get to the main event, God's impossible solution. And finally, we'll look at their incredible journey from crippling fear to unshakable faith. Okay, let's dive right in. The celebration is started, freedom is here. But the road they're about to take, well, it holds a pretty big surprise.
I mean, just try to picture it for a second. After 430 years of brutal, soul-crushing slavery, an entire nation is finally free. And they're not just stumbling out, they are marching out with pride, organized like an army, just filled with this joy that must have felt absolutely electric.
But here's what's interesting. God doesn't take them the easy way. The short route would have led them straight into a war they weren't ready for. So instead, he intentionally leads them on a longer, harder journey through the wilderness. And he doesn't just give them directions, he leads them personally with these amazing pillars of cloud and fire, a constant visual reminder, day and night, that he is right there with them.
All right, let's keep going, because this journey of freedom is about to come to a screeching halt. That incredible feeling of joy is about to be replaced with pure, unfiltered panic.
You see, back in Egypt, the dust has barely settled when Pharaoh and his officials had this massive change of heart. It suddenly hits them. They just let their entire free labor force walk away. And that same stubborn pride that caused all those plagues, it comes roaring right back.
And Pharaoh doesn't mess around. He gathers his whole army, led by the best of the best, 600 of his most elite chariots. Think of them as the tanks of the ancient world. This isn't about talking. This is an all-out military assault to drag a nation of people back into chains.
And right here, the story becomes a powerful picture of something much, much deeper. Pharaoh's hard, stubborn heart is this perfect metaphor for sin. You know, that tendency we all have to rebel against God, to go our own way. Yeah, the prophet Isaiah puts it this way. Our rebellion, our sin, it creates this huge chasm, this separation between us and God.
But, and this is so important, in complete contrast to Pharaoh, who's pursuing them to destroy them, we see God's love, which pursues us to rescue us. It's a love that offers freedom from that very sin through the sacrifice of Jesus. It is the ultimate rescue mission.
And for the Israelites, this spiritual idea suddenly becomes a terrifying physical reality. In a heartbeat, they're completely and utterly trapped. In front of them, the massive, uncrossable Red Sea. And behind them, they can hear the thunder of 600 chariots getting closer and closer. There is, literally, no way out. You can just feel the terror, right? Any faith they had just evaporates. They turn on Moses, their leader, just dripping with sarcasm and despair. They're basically saying they'd rather be alive as slaves than dead as free men. All hope is gone.
So this is it, the breaking point, the moment where, from a human perspective, it's all over. And this is exactly where God reveals a solution that no one could have ever seen coming. This is where desperation turns into deliverance. Right in the middle of all the panic and complaining, Moses is like a rock. He speaks with this incredible calm and authority, telling the people, stop freaking out, just stand still and watch. God himself is about to fight this battle for you.
And then it begins. God sets in motion this incredible chain of events. That pillar of cloud moves, positioning itself between the two camps. To the Egyptians, it's a wall of total darkness. But for the Israelites, it's a source of light. Then Moses stretches out his hand. A powerful wind starts to howl, and all night long it pushes the water back, until the impossible happens. The bottom of the sea becomes dry land, and the people of Israel walk right through the middle of the sea, not on some wet sandbar, but on a dry path with these massive, towering walls of water on either side of them. It's a hallway of salvation carved right through the middle of chaos. Of course, the Egyptians, blinded by their own arrogance, they charged right in after them.
But inside that path, God throws their army into total confusion, jamming up their chariot wheels in the mud. And once every last Israelite is safely on the other side, God tells Moses to raise his hand one last time. And just like that, those walls of water collapse, wiping out Pharaoh's entire army in a single moment.
So, what happens next? How does an event like this change a people forever? And what is the powerful lesson in it for us today? Let's get into it.
Standing on the far shore, the Israelites watch as the bodies of their worst enemies wash up on the sand. The absolute terror they felt just hours before is gone, replaced by this overwhelming sense of awe. Their fear becomes faith, and they just erupt into this spontaneous song of praise, celebrating the unbelievable power of their God.
Okay, so amazing story. But what does a thousands of years old miracle have to do with you and me right now? Why does God sometimes lead us into situations that feel like a trap?
Well, to really get it, let me share the parable of the butterfly. A man sees a butterfly struggling for hours to get out of its cocoon. Feeling sorry for it, he decides to help and snips the cocoon open. The butterfly emerges easily, but its body is swollen and its wings are all shriveled up. It can never fly. Because you see, the struggle was the whole point. The struggle is what forces the fluid from its body into its wings, making them strong enough for flight.
And that is exactly what this story is about. God allows us to have our own Red Sea moments, those impossible, trapped situations, not to crush us, but to strengthen us. The struggle is the very thing that builds our faith and gets us ready to fly.
And that brings us right back to that verse we started with. In the middle of the fear, the confusion, the feeling that it's all over, this is our anchor. God is in control. He is masterfully weaving every single detail, even the really painful ones, into a beautiful plan for the good of those who love Him.
You see, this whole escape from Egypt is the ultimate picture of salvation. Just like God made a physical path through the waters of death for the Israelites, He has made a spiritual path from death to life for us. And the Bible says that path is open simply by believing in Jesus, who crossed that divide on our behalf.
Hey, if this explainer helped you see this incredible story in a new light, your subscriptions, likes, and comments are a great encouragement. Thank you so much for watching.